Hello. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a floral topiary arrangement. You're going to need a selection of flowers, some Oasis wet foam, a container, a length of ribbon, a good pair of floral cutting shears, a rose and foliage stripper, and a knife to cut the Oasis foam with. Okay, you're going to start by taking your foam. I have already pre-soaked this foam, but I do want to note that you want to let your foam soak for about 15 to 30 minutes to make sure that there's no air bubbles inside of the foam and that it's completely saturated. Don't force your foam under the water to try to speed up the process because it's going to create little air pockets of dryness inside the foam, and that's going to shorten the life of your flowers. Okay, first step is, and let me clear this up a little bit. First step is we're going to go ahead and measure our wet foam against our container. The bottom of my container is about here where my fingers are, so I'm going to just kind of trim just a little bit above that. I'm going to mark my foam to make it easier. And I'm going to trim it off at that mark. Save this piece for another project. Okay, now that I have that trimmed, I'm just going to go ahead and force this Oasis into the container. It fits nice and snugly in this case, so we're not going to worry about anything like extra adhesive to hold it in. And the next step is going to be working with the sunflowers that I have pulled today. I really like sunflowers for a topiary arrangement. They're easy to work with. They've got nice big heads on them. And you can take the flowers and just start piecing them together, like so, so that you have one on the top and then one on all the sides facing outwards. Now, you're going to notice I still have some gaps in between the flower heads here. I'm going to take another flower called Solidago, and I'm going to fit this in here. I've already pre-cleaned all my flowers of foliage, but if there's any foliage that you don't find favorable, you could use your rose stripper to remove it. I'll show you shortly how to do that. And you see I'm just filling in any of the blank spaces with the Solidago. Okay, now I'm going to hold this up to my container and I'm going to measure. I want my topiary to be about this height. I'm going to grab my floral shears and mark my stems. Now the sunflower stems are a little thicker than my shears, so I have to take my time, mark them, and go back and cut them. You can also use a floral knife if you're handy with that. And I'm kind of making sure to cut everything all at the same level as best of my ability. I'm just going to clean my debris away here. Okay, next I'm going to take my stems all together tightly and work them into my Oasis. I'm actually going to readjust this one a little bit. Okay, now that I have the majority of this here, I'm going to take my ribbon, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist my ribbon around and just kind of do a little knot or crisscross. Let me see if I can turn this so you can see that clearer. And I'm going to twist and pull and twist and pull, twist and pull, and do it all the way down to where I want to tie it off. And then I'm just going to do a knot, and later, if I want to, if it's not pretty, I'll trim off any excess. Okay, so now we have the basic shape of our topiary. Round flowers on top, stem down at the bottom, and a base. Okay, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to clean any foliage. This is the unwanted foliage. This is my rose stripper and foliage cleaner, and I'm just going to put this over my foliage, pull, and this is going to remove most all any of the unwanted foliage. Okay, now I'm going to use my Solidago to fill in the bottom of this arrangement here. I'm going to measure against my container, and I'm going to trim the stem. You'll notice I'm trimming the stem kind of in half. I'm not using the whole top of the flower. I'm using half of it. This is a nice way with a flower like this to kind of get a little more bang for your buck and maximize its usage in your vase or container. Okay, I'm then pressing it into the container, and I'm going to do this all the way around. I'm going to repeat cutting kind of midway in the stem and working it all around. Now when you have an arrangement that is a round arrangement per se, that it's something happening on each side, you can spin the arrangement as you work. It's easier too because you don't get locked into one side. And you'll notice if anything looks like it needs a little something. And just keep going all the way around until your arrangement is fairly full. Okay, now I have an accent flower that I'd like to add in. This Hypericum berry is going to go at the base. And I've already pre-cleaned this, and same situation. I'm going to trim this as I see fit. And just work it into the bottom of the arrangement. I try to keep it mostly at the same level. You don't want to shove your flowers so deep into the other flowers that you can't see and appreciate them. Turn as you go, so you can see if there's any spaces that really need some attention. And check everything out and make sure it looks like what it's supposed to look like. And ta-da, we're done. Now I have a beautiful floral topiary arrangement that I can enjoy in my home, at my event, or give to a friend. Good luck with your arrangement.